These ideas weren't written by a human, they were actually generated by an AI.
Oh, wow!
I work for this guy, Brandon B. You may have seen him on the internet before. With the rest of our team, we specialise in making viral, creative VFX videos.
Oh, not again.
I don't really know what's going on.
As a social media production company, we're always on the lookout for new and exciting tech. Back in June, we got access to DALL-E 2, an AI that generates images based on a text prompt, and we've used it in our pitch decks for clients and to generate ideas for a new profile picture. The company that built DALL-E, openai, also has an AI that generates text called GTP3. You can feed it hundreds of examples of a piece of text, and it will look for patterns and spit out a similarly sounding piece of text. I wondered, what could GTP3 do for us? We spend a lot of time in our writer's room, brainstorming ideas for our videos. Often we come up with ideas on the spot, but sometimes we ask Lee to come up with some ideas beforehand to use as a jumping off point. It was the perfect opportunity for a prank. If I replaced Lee's ideas with ideas generated by GTP3, would anyone actually notice? So I went about collecting every pitch deck and every idea treatment I could find, 150 ideas in total, and collated them into one big spreadsheet. I then uploaded all this data to a Google Colab notebook, trained the model, and the Brandon B idea generator came to life. It's alive! It works as follows. You input a client, you input some keywords, and the AI outputs a Brandon B idea. The results were interesting.
We open on Brandon in full Pope attire standing in front of his congregation.
They've been turned into tiny cavemen, who now look confused.
Brandon looks up at the moon in horror as his arms transform into long, sharp blades. He then proceeds to slice his own head off.
He then takes out his phone and takes a selfie with the courgette for his Instagram story.
He gives it a rather long, sensual lick.
Brandon and his friend fall to the floor in agony as they start bleeding out of their respective wounds. They've each been hit by one pumpkin bullet.
Video ends on a black screen with text. Halloween is bigger on Facebook.
I think so far there's been maybe one decent idea. The AI also came up with some stuff that wasn't in the original training data, such as awards won by the video.
It won Best in Show at Video Fest in 2019.
Bronze Vine for videography. This video was shot using the Vine camera.
What's a Vine camera? Filming requirements.
This video will be mirrored for both religious and non-religious markets.
This video needs to be shot in Britain for authenticity purposes.
Vimeo links.
Oh, we got some Vimeo links now. Oh, I couldn't find that page. Do any of these work? The VFX will work. No. Oh, it's an actual video. No way. The AI has generated a link to a private Vimeo video. It's trying to tell us something. Social media handles. Oh, Brandon Atkins. Let's see if Brandon Atkins exists. There is a Brandon Atkins. Lots of repetition.
And
this slightly creepy ending.
End scene. End parody. End credits. End of world. End of life. End of time. End of universe. End of reality. End of everything. End of story.
I don't know if this is going to work.
Over the course of 3 hours, I generated about 150 ideas and shortlisted 25 usable ones. Out of those, I picked 10 to present to the team. Finally, I roped in our producer Molly into the prank.
That is absolutely genius.
Who would present the AI ideas as Lee's ideas. The prank was all set up.
I think the next one to delve into, if that's right, told by everyone here, is probably Halloween. Woohoo! Before we actually brainstorm, I reckon we just go through Lee's doc that he sent through a while back.
Right. Would the AI ideas be good enough to fool my creative colleagues?
Right, first idea. We see Brandon walking home from a Halloween party when he spots a mysterious flyer on the street. Brandon's arm goes inside the paper like he's just broken through a window or portal before we find him in an abandoned house full of...
At the beginning, I had a tendency to talk way too much, as I wanted to defend the AI ideas.
It's kind of like the Motorola idea, you know, going through the phone. I think it's quite cool. It'd be a cool transition from real life to then a paper.
But it did lead to some discussions about the different ways we could shoot the idea.
I think this could almost be all practical.
You just have a hole in a bit of paper and you put your arm through it or something.
Oh, I imagine the flyer being on a wall, and then it's just like a hole in a wall that you go through.
Is there something we can do with an arm coming out of the flyer? He drops it,
drags
he realises he's even yeah.
I think so far that's probably my favourite.
Yeah, nice, I like that.
That was probably the idea that made the most sense. Other ideas were a little more strange.
We open on Brandon dressed as a monk.
Interesting.
He walks up to an unsuspecting victim and places his hand over their eyes. And it spooks until they hear Brandon say, trick or treat, at which point he removes his hand, reading the victim's
Brandon whispers in his ear.
What relevance to the monk, Harry? I think we're missing something there. Like, why is it we specifically written a monk?
The AI had a tendency to produce ideas that had a promising start.
Brandon's at home in his bedroom. He's chilling on his bed watching a creepy video on YouTube and he notices a strange shadow cast over him. He looks up to see a terrifying figure standing right above him.
But quickly transformed into complete nonsense.
It's actually one of those human-shaped cardboard cutouts you find outside shops. The cardboard guy starts doing some karate moves with Brandon who freaks out behind it.
I like the beginning bit, but I really don't understand why it's from Batman and then why it's a cardboard guy that like starts karate moving him. I'm like really confused by that. It's almost like 3 different videos in one idea.
We also pushed the prank to its limits with this last idea.
We see Brandon on the sidewalk with a friend. He says, I've got an idea, let's play a game of skeleton horse racing. Brandon then places his hands on the ground and lifts up. He is now a human-shaped skeleton riding another human-shaped skeleton.
Christ.
This is the best idea ever. It's eye-catching, different, it's never been done before.
So all those in favour?
Yeah, I love it.
I've been smoking short film.
I'd love to know how Lee's mind works, like what kind of person comes up with
To be fair, he turns around a lot of ideas so quickly. Like the fact that on his own he's able to brainstorm like this amount of ideas in a short amount of time is like nuts. He could just crack on his own.
He's definitely on something good.
By the end of a brainstorm, we had 3 or 4 options for some Halloween videos, all of them partially or fully inspired by the AI. The mission was a success. A room full of creatives had no idea that an unthinking, unemotional algorithm generated these ideas. What next?
Right, what are we brainstorming today?
Legoland!
For this second brainstorm, I retrained the GTP3 model with twice as many ideas, 300 in total, for a new and improved Brandon B Idea Generator 2.0. But was it actually better?
Brandon, today we're going to be building the world's tallest Lego structure with our bare hands. He then proceeds to bend his arm backwards at a 90-degree angle, reaching into his own body and pulling out a giant Lego brick.
Is this the like insidious / Brandon Lego?
The AI did, however, generate an idea we had already come up with.
Brandon's at the entrance of Legoland. He pulls out his phone and opens Instagram app. He then takes a selfie and using perspective shift, he turns his face into a mini fig version of himself. Wow, we literally just thought of that. He then proceeds to walk the entrance as a Legoland version of himself.
Basically.
Yeah, the same.
And it still had a tendency to write a good start of the video, but that lacked an ending.
Using perspective shift, he grabs a roller coaster, turns it into a tiny Lego balloon and places it in his pocket. Hey, that's alright, yeah?
Because I feel like that's like the first half of the video. There's a long queue, he grabs it and puts it next to him and then walks over to it, and the people in the queue are like,
yeah.
I also suggested an idea that was inspired by an AI one.
It'd be cool if we do like a POV of Brandon like on the roller coaster, and maybe up ahead there's like a bit of track missing, and he pulls out his Lego and starts like quickly building the track.
Like one of them grommet.
Yes.
Not long after the Legoland brainstorm, I had this insightful conversation with Brandon.
How do you think we're going to be using AI for our stuff?
Oh my god, in so many ways. I think we're now working on really, really advanced copy AIs that feed it information and it can write full paragraphs of copy and text and you wouldn't know it wasn't written by a human. So we create 100 episodes of This Interview with Self-Destruct. We'll be able to get an AI to produce us an episode of This Interview with Self-Destruct that you wouldn't be able to tell that a human didn't write it. Like, it would be that incredible.
Because I was scared that Brandon might catch on to the prank soon, we decided it was time for one last brainstorm.
Brandon and his girlfriend are walking through a park. Brandon spots a tortoise and has an idea using the tortoise as a escape.
Yes.
As usual, the AI continued to produce illogical concepts and bizarre twists.
As he takes a picture of himself, a real monkey suddenly jumps into frame.
Shouldn't I turn into the filter?
As they get closer, the llama turns into a chalk outline, which Brandon brushes aside. This happens a few more times until they are running so fast that they crash into a brick wall. The map magically transforms into a jungle map with the London Underground lines becoming rivers. Brandon throws the map into the air and it transforms into a leaf. He then runs up to the leaf and jumps into it, magically transforming into a jungle.
What?
I liked the beginning of it.
Yeah, I like the maps.
Yeah.
The rivers just got a bit weird.
Yeah.
We open on Brandon at home in a jungle-themed bathroom. He's brushing his teeth when suddenly he hears a growl. He lets out a yelp before flicking his toothbrush into the air. As it lands, the toothbrush transforms to a spear and he grabs it, holding it at the ready. Suddenly the bathroom door bursts open and a lion charges in. Brandon lunges towards the door and spears the lion through the stomach. Someone else read the rest. I can't.
I'm quite enjoying it.
Go
And out of
on.
nowhere, a giraffe sprints into the bathroom and crashes into Brandon, sending him flying into the mirror above, which shattered. Oh, that was brilliant. That was on the edge of my seat.
Lee obviously stopped after that one. He obviously
At the end of a brainstorm, it was finally time for the big reveal.
Okay, I have a little confession to make. These ideas we've just gone through, written by Lee, they weren't actually written by Lee. They were generated by an AI.
Oh, wow, that was cool. Woo, go AI. Fuck yeah, that's the coolest news I've ever heard ever. That's so cool.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
I love how we genuinely thought those were Lee's ideas as well. Like, it's fully brilliant. So, like, that is something that Lee would come up with.
I feel bad now. I owe like Lee an apology because a lot of times ago.
Was the Sam Ryder script also written by AI?
No.
No, it was written by
The AI's fighting back now.
A few weeks later, I caught up with Lee and showed him the ideas generated by his AI counterpart.
This is so stupid. Spears the lion through the stomach. It feels like WWE meets WWF.
WWE used to be called WWF, so it's a perfect synergy.
I bet he was wondering what I was thinking.
A lot of people were.
It does a good job of just like pairing stuff up, but not one of these am I like, oh, this is a cool idea. Visually, some of it would be interesting. If you put Brandon's greatest hits in a blender, create some weird amalgamation of them all, then it's kind of like that, but maybe Brandon shouldn't put his ideas in a blender.
Are you surprised that these ideas fooled the team?
A little bit. I mean, I hope that they think I can't have better ideas than this.
I'm sure you're now wondering, did we make any of the ideas that were suggested by the AI? For Halloween, we made one video that was similar to an AI idea, but that we came up with independently, and otherwise we made a number of Pennywise-themed videos. As for the Legoland and Wildlife Park ideas, we never got round to making them. And in the few months since the big reveal, we haven't really used GTP3 nor Lee in any of our brainstorms. In this video, I only showed you the best or the funniest ideas, but there were plenty that I generated that didn't make sense or were just plain bad. Around 1 in 10 ideas had an element that was maybe usable. So right now, with the current technology, this could be used as a tool for inspiration, as a jumping off point.
There's something quite nice about having a brainstorming tool to help give you new ideas. Essentially gives you a very good random word generator, and sometimes that's all you need to come up with your next genius idea and put you in the correct place.
But if these tools keep improving, what will happen in 5 years' time, 10 years, 20?
I'm not too fearful just yet going off of what I've just read, but give it a few more years, it could be time for a new career.
It is happening whether we like it or not. Whether you're sitting here going, this is a good thing for humanity or a bad thing for humanity and civilization, it's going to happen. We may as well learn it, try and get up to speed with where the industry's at, and then hopefully try and guide it in the right direction by being there with the creators at the top.
The fear I have with AI is that it's automating more and more processes that are vital to artistic creation. I think there is fundamentally a certain loss of control and freedom when using AI. We live in a world accustomed to instant gratification, to quick results, to being more efficient, to faster outputs. But creativity is not about the end result. It's about the journey. It's important to think for yourself, to come up with your own ideas, to write in your own words, rather than to adapt or tweak or edit an AI-generated piece of text. Creativity is a muscle, but outsourcing your thinking to a machine will weaken that muscle.
I think even if it does get good, it's your duty as a creative person to just pretend it's not very good. But that's not what I'm doing yet. I'm generally not sold yet.
In my mind, no language model will be better than a human, and no human will be better than a language model. The best scenario is when a human and AI join forces and collaborate. I think that's how we're going to see this this next world of incredible creative advancements.
As for me, for now, I will continue coming up with my own ideas, writing in my own words, expressing myself in my own way, rather than have my thoughts be owned by a machine. In a world of endless content, even more so today thanks to AI, write the things you want to write, make the things you want to make. Don't let an AI put the words in your mouth.